Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fire Talk with Chief Mark McCluskey. I'm your host, Public Safety Information Director Larry Flowers. Chief, thanks for joining us again.
Hey, it's good to be back again.
Sure, we're going to be talking about the calls for service for the month of December. So here is our monthly calls for service for December 1st through December 31st, 2024. I believe 2024 is over already?
No, I don't. I just feel like it just started.
Yeah, 1,969 calls seem to be going up every month.
It's going up a little bit every month since we started this program. Yeah, this month we had 1,969.
1,221 were EMS incidents, and for those listening audience that don't know quite what calls that are included in EMS, what type of calls are those?
EMS calls, it could be from somebody hitting a medical alarm at their house that sends out an alarm for medical help, and maybe a false alarm on that part, to car vehicles that people are, crashes that people are hurt in, to all your medical calls that people call chest pains, any kind of injury or sickness.
And what about those fire rescue incidents?
The fire rescue incidents is basically all other calls that are not typically medical calls that are dealing with the fire side of stuff. Like it could actually be a fire, hazardous materials, just any kind of other things we may get called out for, pets in a tree.
Exactly.
We've had
exactly.
those.
And of course, working fire incidents, those are self-explanatory.
Yes,
15, that's up, I believe.
That is up. December is usually a busier month, time of the year, with candles cooking and getting cold. So that's actual 15 fires that we actually had a fire at.
Right, and several major crashes that MFRD responded to.
Yes, we had a few bad crashes this month also with vehicles.
Back on December 4th, MFRD responded to Northwest Broad near I-840. Traffic was a nightmare, had to shut it down. This particular one happened to be a fatality. We're sad to report.
It did. It was a young female coming inbound, I believe, on 840. After the investigation done was by the FACTS team, I think they deemed it was reckless driving, maybe involved a little bit in that, but she ended up 3 cars involved and it took her life.
Right. Yeah, it's sad anytime.
Anytime is sad, but especially around the holidays. But yes.
Yeah, with a car seat in there,
yes,
it's really difficult, someone having to lose their parent.
It is very difficult, and that sets off an alarm when the firefighters walk up on the scene. They see a car seat, they're thinking, was it strapped in right? Was it ejected or something like that? So it sets off another alarm with us. But luckily, she was by herself. The child was not in the car.
Right. And then on December 9th, another major crash at Franklin Road and Brinkley Road. You can jump in and...
Yeah, that was out on Franklin Road, right there, close to Brinkley or at Brinkley. Of course, Station 11 is just right down the street. Got on the scene pretty quick. Had to stabilize the vehicles. I think one was on top of the other, basically. You always want to stabilize those vehicles when you still have a patient inside. Tended to the patients. Both of them had minor injuries, transported to the hospital, but luckily no one was seriously injured.
And you had mentioned one car was on top of the other. That was a full extrication there. They had to cut doors off.
Yes, correct, yeah.
And that's why training is so important to do that.
Exactly, and I've always said this, about extrication. It's very mechanical-minded people that do a great job at that. It's not something you can just learn from reading it out of a book. So we do a lot of training on that because you do not want to create any more injuries to the patient that's already in the car.
Exactly.
So yes, we train a lot on that.
Sure. And we're going to kind of transition into some of the working fire incidents.
Okay.
Back on December 8th, fire on Pecan Ridge Drive.
Yes, we had a call come in on that, smoke coming from the residence. Our crews arrived on the scene pretty quick and determined everybody was out of the house and went in, extinguished the fire fairly quickly. And it was a fire in the in the bedroom that was contained to the bedroom. Had several units to respond, but not sure exactly what caused that fire. The fire marshal's still investigating.
Then the next day responded to a laundry room fire at the Dempsey Apartments on Crossway.
Yeah, Crossway,
Avenue.
yes. That ended up being the laundry room on fire. Once again, the crews got there quick, contained it to the laundry room, which had a lot of damage in it, but was able to contain it to that room. Nobody apartment was damaged in that fire. It just contained it to, like I said, the laundry room. Also had several people or piece of equipment runs to that because
Sure.
it's apartments,
Right,
life
right.
safety, a lot of people. So we have several that respond to that. But yeah,
And thankfully, no injuries, right?
yeah, no injuries on that fire to anybody. But
When you hear a call go out on the scanner and it's a multi-dwelling fire, an apartment fire, you know, what goes through your mind when you know your guys are responding to a multi-dwelling?
when you respond to something that's multi-dwelling like you're talking about, one of the first things used to pop in my mind, and I'm not sure what order everybody it pops in your mind,
Right.
is what time of the day is it?
Right.
If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, everybody's usually home sleeping. You try to think about your going out and doing inspections on the property, what type of building it is, how people can get out of that building, the age of the building.
Right,
Is
right.
it, got fire safety blocks in, firewalls and alarm systems and stuff like that. Your main thing is life safety when
Right,
you get on scene. We
right.
want to get everybody out because, if we can get everybody out safe and the building burns down, we've done a good job. But we have enough people on the scene that we assign people to life safety, going in doing search and rescue,
Right.
and also a fire attack to stop the fire.
And that meaning going door to door sometimes. I think
Sometimes
this
it
was
does.
11 o'clock at night.
Yes, sometimes it does. There's other processes in that. You want to, of course, you're going to start closest to the fire because that's where the people are most in danger. You always try to get like maybe someone, a representative from the apartments or whatever, get you a master key. You don't want to kick in doors if you don't have to. But we have had to do it before, not get an answer. The fire's approaching that apartment. It's like we got to go inside and check, and we don't have time to wait for a key. And we'll go ahead and do forcible entry and
Exactly.
get in and do the search and rescue.
Sure, sure. And then December 14th, back on Hospitality Lane, residential fire reported there. I think fire on the porch.
Yeah, the call come in. Somebody reported that the front porch on this house is on fire. Had a couple of engines get there pretty quick. It was a fire on the front porch. Might have been related to smoking. Not sure. That's still under
Right,
investigation.
right.
And I always say these fires are under investigation. A lot of times it does take a little while for our investigators to get out there. They may know that day. I said, I'm pretty sure this is
Right.
what happens, but they want to make sure.
Make sure.
Because there may be some legal aspects and insurance involved into it, so you don't want to say, oh, this was something that turned out later it's not. So they always make sure, send stuff off for testing and stuff.
Right. And good news, nobody reported injured in
Yeah,
that one as well.
nobody injured in that one. It was just contained to the outside of the house on the front porch, a little damage.
And December 19th, Oakland High School, construction is going on. Several buildings are being built. Construction workers are there all the time. There was smoke reported in the cafeteria.
It was. It ended up being a HVAC
Okay.
system. Sometimes the motors, the belts, or even when they're brand new, start up, they'll smoke a little
Right.
bit. Sometimes in the wintertime, when you cut them on the first time, they got dust built up on the coils, they'll smoke. But whatever reason, it smoked up the cafeteria and come to the ductwork. This one here, being in a high school with all the students there, it kind of sets off a panic.
Right, exactly.
Because every student's got a cell phone. They text their parents like, hey, there's a ton of fire trucks at our
Right.
school. I don't know what's going on. But the school, they have a instant action plan in place for fire and fire alarms. And the school done a great job of doing what they needed to do. We went in and isolated the problem, and I got maintenance to come in and fix it. But in saying this, with the smoke smoking up and the alarms going off and everything, the kids and the teachers and the staff out there at Oakland did a great job of evacuating the school.
All right. And then fire on West Malloy on December 30th.
Yeah,
Responded to that one as well.
yeah, that was it's in the bathroom, I believe, in the ceiling part. It was on smoke coming from the residence, and was called to it, but go in and extinguish a small fire that was in the bathroom ceiling. It was contained to that, no injuries and everything, so it's just another pretty much routine little fire that we have, but you just kind of shows you never know where something's going to start. It's in the ceiling.
Exactly.
Some people think a fire's going to start and down on the floor by the wall where all this trash cans at. It's not. I've seen them start in a lot of weird places.
Wow. Yeah, and the Red Cross was called in to help.
Red Cross. They still work with us a lot in providing some victims sometimes that maybe the house gets smoked up or totally burned down. They put them up for the night, give them some essentials they need to get through for the day till maybe they can find another place to stay or stay with someone till the insurance kind of kicks in, because this one here was not as bad as some of them, but if you lose everything and you can't stay at your home and you're standing there in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, that's all you have, you need some help.
You need some help, right.
Need some help.
Right. And no, we kind of talked about this next fire. It's out of order. It happened on December 20th.
Yes.
A tragic fire situation there.
Yes. I'll just go ahead and say that was our only fire fatality for 2024. We had two older sisters that lived together out on Windermere, I think was the street they were on. It was a cooking fire, started off. One of the ladies come in, it was her sister, and noticed her gown was on fire, tried to put her gown out, the grease that was cooking with spilt it on her in the commotion and everything. There was not much fire to the actual fire scene itself. It was pretty much extinguished before we got there, but once we got there we found a critically burned patient that was life flighted out to Vanderbilt, and 2 days later she lost her life.
Goodness, good. You had mentioned the only fire death in 2024. You don't want to see any, but luckily there were not more last year, so we're thankful for that.
Very thankful, and just to remind you on that note, talk about that, Larry, that's we do have a smoke detector program. If someone doesn't have a smoke detector, they can give us a call. We'll come out and install them. This is another thing we've talked about, safety in the kitchen, cooking safety. This was another thing. Obviously, I think she had on a loose-fitting gown that caught on fire on the phone while she was talking and cooking, and when her gown caught on fire, and ultimately see what it led to. Right,
and just cooking safety in general. You mentioned a couple of things that that occurred in this particular fire, but you don't want people to leave stuff unattended either.
No, when you're cooking in your kitchen, you always got to be mindset that you're cooking. You can't clean the house and cook at the same time. When you're cooking, you need to be cooking and pay close attention to what's going on.
Right. And we're going to move on from our calls for service to some of our honors. We've honored these guys that went to Hurricane Helene to help with the aftermath after the flooding back on September 27th. But the mayor of the city of Murfreesboro and Chris Clark, Rutherford County Public Safety Director, they both honored these guys and gals, and we really appreciate them. It happened right here at City Hall.
Yeah, it did. It was back on December 5th, one night before council meeting. And not only was it our city employees, because we had some from the fire department and the police department to go, but we also had some from our county and surrounding counties. And it was just a good thing to recognize all them for going. That was, talked about it before, that was a pretty rough deployment with what they seen and had to deal with, and it was good for them to be recognized. And even one of our city officers took the K9 and I think it's a female dog, and she was recognized also. I can't remember the name, but
Kari.
Kari, that's it. Yeah, and she had a story I think to go viral from that with the dog spotting someone up in a tree or another dog, and so it was a good thing to recognize all these guys.
Yeah, you don't realize how that flood water, how quickly it can rise, and so Kari alerted on a dog that was 20 feet up. in the top of a tree that was filled with debris, just sitting perched on that debris, and they were able to safely get that dog down.
Yeah.
So just imagine if that was a person
Exactly.
hanging on,
You know,
for life.
It's terrible what happened and the people lost their lives, but it's you can always find a little good in the
And
bad.
there you go, a little
You know,
good.
you try to keep a positive attitude because we can't change what happened, but we can maybe set the goal for what's going to
Right,
happen.
right, definitely. And we have some new additions to MFRD as well.
Yes, I think we had 2 last month and 2 more this month.
Something in the water over the
Yeah,
fire hose.
I guess it is. We're gonna have to get the water department to check it for us. But yeah, we had Clint Carter. Him and his wife had a new baby boy, born in December, and Jordan Woodhouse. He had a little baby girl born. So that's 2 more babies in our family.
Right, right.
We always like them.
And see, both of them were 6 pounds. I know the ounces were a little different. But
Yeah, not
it's
just
something in the
3
water.
ounces. Just 3 ounces different. And so
Yeah, well, congratulations to
Yeah,
those parents, and I think
exactly.
they're all doing well. And also, we don't want to leave without reminding people about the census.
the
as well.
census, yes. Of course, if you know the city's doing a special census, you probably have seen it somewhere. You see the barcode here, but just to let you know the importance of this, a lot of people see it and think, oh, I don't want to give my information.
Right.
You know, I don't know who this is going to. But all you need to give is just your address and your name. That's all, so we can
And how
count
many
it.
people live in the...
And how many people live with you, and their names also. Nobody else sees this information, but the reason it's so important is the state will fund the city out of the state tax dollars taken. It's $175 a year per person.
Right.
So we're thinking maybe our population, by what kind of building permits have been pulled, should be up around 20,000 more than what it's
Right.
actually registered right now. So we're talking a few $1 million when you add all that up. And that helps slow down our tax base because that's money coming in from the state
Right.
that if we don't have, we have to spend otherwise. But we're going to try to get everybody. We've got several different ways you can do it online, you know, on your cell phone.
Mail it in.
Mail it in. There's been a mail out. But also the ones that do not send it in, we're going to be coming to your door. The fire department is going to be
Right.
out doing canvases in these neighborhoods, knocking on the doors that have not sent it in, because we know who has and who has not
Exactly.
from the addresses. So if you hear this, please just do your census and get it in. It's a benefit for everybody.
Definitely will help with public safety and, you know, improving our fire service and our police service
Yes.
with each one of you that's counted as a city resident. Chief, is there anything else you want to chat about?
No, it's just, you know, we're getting off to our new year. I will say, first year, all of our training starts over again. But this year, I think it's going to be a little bit better. We are fully staffed
Right,
at the fire department now, which it's a big deal. You know, there's been, I don't know how many years, 5 or 6, maybe even 7 years have gone by with not being fully staffed and a heavy turnover rate.
Right.
And all that's doing to us is more training. We're training people, then as soon as we get done with that group, another group is left, we got to train more. So this is going to free up more time for us to do some more in-house training with our seasoned guys, and different training, instead of focusing on that, which is, it's really kind of a break for us too, because you know, training new people it's a big job to do.
Definitely.
So we're looking forward to that. That's great. I got some new stuff coming up maybe this year we're looking at doing and stuff. So we're excited about the year. And we had a good year last year and looking for another good one this year.
Exactly, 2025. And for the first time in kind of recent history, we won't have a new recruit class in the spring
Yeah, that is correct.
since we're fully staffed.
We're actually right now, we say we're fully staffed. We're down one person as far as what, but that's in the fire marshal's division.
Okay,
so
okay.
our fire service is not affected at all. We're fully staffed everywhere out on our frontline engines. So we usually have a spring and a fall recruit class, but we're not having one this spring because we do not need it, and that's kind of a blessing.
Right,
Like
right.
I said, it takes a lot of time and effort and money to train a class.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed on social media a couple of messages that they will send a direct message with people asking, how do you apply? I mean, So people are waiting, waiting to join MFRD.
Well, it's always been kind of the norm. We're always hiring. Same thing with the police department.
Right,
You know,
right.
they're getting to the point to where they've about got all their police officers hired. But for the last several years, we're always been hiring. You know, now we had to take our application down offline right now
Wow.
because we've gotten so many applications. And it's not that we wouldn't open it back up if we had an opening going to hire.
Sure, sure.
It's just everyone that's put in, we have to physically go in and verify that we've got an application. So we had over 300 and something people the last time that put in, up from about 60. So that tells you how things have changed.
Right, right.
Thankful to the mayor and council, what they voted to do for public safety. It's helped out a lot. And I think we're on the right track right now.
And even some of the people we trained left, we were able to get
Come
a
back.
few of them back.
Come back.
Yes,
And,
indeed.
you know, I don't blame anybody from leaving. I hate to see people leaving, but if they change careers or trying to better their family in certain
Right.
ways, it's like, you know. But we've had that, and they were good recruits when they were here, been here a couple of years, and I was glad to have them back. They was already trained, and
Right.
he was trained by us, and they come back, you know, and so it's kind of a win-win for both of us on that.
We really appreciate you joining us. I'm Larry Flowers.
And I'm Chief Mark McCluskey.
We'll see you next time on Fire Talk.